While there are loads of reasons for businesses in various industries not lasting more than a couple of years, one of the top reasons is lack of money or capital. Cash flow problems can be a major challenge for businesses, especially in the early stages when revenue is not yet consistent. Businesses may struggle to pay bills, make payroll, or invest in the growth if they don't have sufficient cash reserves or access to funding. Now, there are other causes of business failure. If there is no market demand for the product or service, they will struggle to attract customers or generate revenue. Or you don't differentiate yourself from other businesses similar to yours. Or fail due to poor management, including lack of leadership, ineffective decision making, and poor management can lead to a variety of problems. Now, when you look at these examples I've just given for failure, you might notice that they can be overcome. You can pay for market research that tells you what's on the minds of your customers. You can completely rebrand and create a unique value proposition for your brand to stand out. And you can overcome poor management by going on training courses or seminars, etc. However, you can't do those things when you don't have enough money to solve those problems. You can get past many of the common problems when you have enough startup capital to launch your business. In this episode, I'm going to go through several different options to find the money you need to start and grow your business. So if you're ready to get the capital necessary to move your business from a dream to a reality, then let's go. Welcome to the Elevate Your World podcast. This podcast is for anyone who wants to take their business to the next level. Each episode tackles a topic relevant to entrepreneurs and those looking to start a business. I share tips and tricks on how you can grow your business, find success, and elevate your life. I am your host, Jules. It's going to take a while to establish a presence in your industry. You can't reasonably expect to have a grand opening today and have your business become successful by tomorrow. Well, it has happened. But those are the exceptions to the rule. Some venture capitalists and serial entrepreneurs that are really good at what they do will tell you that you need at least 3 years of operating capital before you start your business. This gives you a solid chance at developing a business that can make it through the early growing pains. However, while having enough operating capital is crucial for the survival of a new business, the specific amount needed can vary widely depending on the industry, the geographic location, and so many other factors. So 3 years is not a hard and fast rule, and the amount needed may be more or less depending on the specific circumstances of your business. There are plenty of ways to fund your business or your startup, from using your own money to bank loans and small business grants to the not so traditional. Sometimes keeping an open mind is the key to spotting unique but practical ways to generate the capital you're going to need to launch your business. The list I'll share contains more than a few options for you to access the money you will need to start or grow your business. Now, first things first, how much can you afford to invest in your business? There's no point in figuring out things like what type of business you want to start and what you need to buy until you know how much you can invest. If you only have, for example, £1,000 to invest, you need to take a look at the different types of businesses you can afford to start in that price range. You can always expand it later or even sell your first business once it becomes profitable and invest the proceeds into starting something else that you actually want. The important thing here is figuring out exactly how much you can afford. This may be simple for you. Maybe you have some money already set aside, just waiting for the day when you're ready to start a business, like now. Or maybe it's not so simple. Maybe you don't have much cash available at the moment to start your business. And if this is the case, there are some creative ways you can get the money, which could be any of these, from your full-time job, a part-time job, this is in addition to your full-time job, your savings, a windfall, like a bonus, an inheritance, or even a lottery win, or selling your belongings, maybe your car, some clothing, some jewelry, gadgets, all those things, or, maybe even just downgrading your car, and credit cards, which is that's a bit of a last resort one, but credit cards as well. But figuring out how much you can afford will give you a better idea of the types of businesses you can realistically open, which is why it's the first step in the process. In this stage, we're not focusing on the type of business or on how much it will take to open up a particular business, just how much you personally have available, if anything, and how much of that available cash are you willing to risk. Remember, it can take several months or even a few years before your business becomes profitable. So you need to keep this in mind when you decide how much you're willing to risk. If you have a few £1,000s in savings, you'll need to live on part of that if you want to devote full-time hours to your new business. And if your company fails, you've lost all your money you've invested. So if you're not willing to risk that much, figure out how much you're willing to risk. Is it 10% of your savings, 50% or 100%? If you have money saved for retirement and you're nearing retirement age, you should be more careful, very much more careful with your money. But if you're young and have plenty of time to make more money, you might be willing to risk a bit more. Right, so once you have a figure in your mind for how much you can invest, you can move on to the next step in the process. Okay, I've talked about figuring out how much you have available to invest. And now the other side of the coin, which is how much you really need to invest. For a second, forget about how much money you have. And now think about the type of business you're most interested in starting. And start doing some research to figure out all the common startup costs. This might include things such as a domain name, the web hosting, web design, the tech, and the actual products. And try and think of every single thing you will need. Make an itemized list of this and find out an average price. You may not get the exact price, but at least some averages. Be as thorough as you can, really, with this. Now look at the total that you get to and then ask yourself, is it anywhere close to the amount of money you have available? If it's not, then you can't realistically start that type of business. But don't give up. There are options that can help you in this case. For example, you can start a different type of business. And now once that's profitable, you can start the business you really wanted to open. And you can find more money to invest through, just some creative methods, or perhaps lower your startup expenses by doing things such as carrying fewer products. But once you figure out a business you can afford to start on the current budget you have, it's time to move on to the next step. Right, how to budget for your new business. Now, a lot of people have personal budgets for their own expenses, but then they fail to set budgets for their business. And it's frustrating because this is the big reason why businesses fail. They spend and spend and spend without enough thought about how to really make all that money back and where it's really going. So you should already know by now how much you have to invest in your business. It might be a few hundred, a few thousand, or maybe next to nothing. But whatever that figure is, you need to set a budget that falls within the figure and stick to it. So again, make a list of everything you absolutely must have to open your business. I'm going to use an example here. So let's say you have £100 to invest. It's a small amount, but there's still a lot of businesses you can start with that kind of investment. It might be something like this. So a domain name, about £14 per year. Web hosting, it's about £5 per month. Shopify, if you're going to be selling stuff online. Shopify is, I believe it's £19 a month. So this comes to £38 initial. That's the initial investment, leaving an extra £62 from your £100 investment. Now take a look at the monthly expenses. So looking at that, the web hosting and the Shopify, you will need at least £24 in ongoing expenses each month. And you don't want to count on making a profit for a while. You might, start selling lots of products and things like that. But initially, in the beginning, don't rely on that. That's, just to be safe, don't rely on that. And you need to anticipate that. If you can't afford the ongoing monthly expenses, then you would need to choose a different business that wouldn't have as many monthly expenses. Or you'd need to find a new way to get that extra £24 a month to pay for it until your business becomes profitable. I hope this makes sense. Now, starting a business with your own finances without seeking outside investments or loans is a challenge. And I can tell you from personal experience. And it's about doing all you can to save money where you can, invest your money wisely, and funding your startup through your own cash flow. Now, these 7 suggestions I'm about to give you are for funding your business from external sources. First one is grants. A grant is basically money that doesn't have to be repaid. The government accepts personal grant applications on the gov.uk website. So depending on your heritage, race, cultural background and other things, you may qualify for a personal grant you can use to fund your business startup. And many other countries other than the UK likewise can offer grants for a wide host of reasons. Your small business may also receive funding in part or in whole by grants offered by schools, local governments or privately owned institutions and businesses. 2, crowdfunding. Crowdfunding has become increasingly popular in recent years as a way to raise funds for your business. This method involves reaching out to a crowd of individuals, hence the name, for funding rather than relying on a single institution or individual. This approach can be particularly attractive to individual investors who don't have a lot of money to invest. For instance, if you have a groundbreaking idea for a new piece of technology but lack the necessary funding, you could offer multiple crowdfunding investors the chance to own a small part of your business without having to invest a huge significant amount. This can quickly generate a considerable amount of capital, as it's easier to attract many investors contributing smaller amounts than it is to secure just a few large investments. There are platforms such as Kickstarter, Fundable, Indiegogo, and these are all reputable and respected within the crowdfunding community and can help you benefit from the power of crowdsourcing to fund your business. By explaining your plan in details and offering attractive rewards, you can persuade a lot of people to invest, especially when they only have a small amount of money to risk. Number 3, sponsorship. If you're running an event, whether that's a one-off event or weekly, monthly event, obtaining sponsorship from corporate businesses is a great way to get the money for your event. With the sponsorship deals, it's a win-win situation. You get the money you need for your event and the sponsor gets the exposure they need for their business. There are usually different levels, for example, silver, gold, platinum, like that. And the platinum sponsor usually has the biggest coverage during your event, or known as the main sponsor. 4, angel investors. An angel investor is an individual who provides capital for a startup, usually in exchange for convertible debt or ownership equity. Angel investors typically provide funds at the early stages of a business when there is high risk and potential for high reward. They're usually entrepreneurs themselves and have the experience to help guide startups along the right path. Angel investors provide not just money, but also mentorship and advice to help businesses succeed. They can also provide access to networks that may be beneficial to the business's success. And here are just a few websites you could visit. There's Angels Den, Funding Circle, or Angel Investment Network. While these angels can provide capital to help get a business off the ground, they may also require entrepreneurs to give up equity in their company or follow a specific business plan. Therefore, it is important for you to carefully consider all the potential risks before seeking out angel investments for your business. Number 5, venture capital funding. Venture capital firms, VC, might make sense for your business, and companies that offer VC money for business startups often focus on a particular industry. In some cases, you may find a VC firm that is open to any type of project as long as you can provide a detailed business plan. Generally speaking, though, entrepreneurs turning to VCs need to raise a significant amount of money. And bear in mind, there are many VCs that usually don't want to even get involved if you're looking to raise anything less than like 100 grand to start your business. And there's some, I think there are even some that they won't even talk to you if it's not even $1 million. So yeah. 6, bank loans. Now, banks and other traditional lending institutions can offer small businesses substantial capital, often with attractive terms and interest rates. If you are starting a brand new business, your bank is likely going to make the lending decision based on your personal credit score. This means that your personal finances can become entwined with those of your business. And this is not always the best move to make. But if you do have a near perfect credit score and a good relationship with your bank, a traditional loan might still be a good way for you to secure funding. And the last one, number 7, family and friends. I saved this one for last because it really should, in my personal opinion, it should be a last resort. I'm sure you've heard plenty of horror stories about people who borrowed money from their mum, their dads, family members, and it just caused so many problems. This is why you should get everything put in writing. Yes, even if it's your mum. Get things put in writing and signed in front of witnesses. And you need to be clear on what is a favour or a gift and what is actually a loan. Imagining a best case scenario is easy to do when people you care about are involved in your business. However, nothing is guaranteed in the business world, and you could end up ruining important relationships while simultaneously watching your dream business fail. Right, there you have it. So only when you are absolutely certain you've taken every possible business expense into account, then you should move forward to seek funding. And think long and hard about everything your business is going to entail. Perform your due diligence and create a solid business plan. Definitely do not think in the short term and factor everything that you'll need to finance your business for at least 6 months to 1 year. And when you follow the recommendations in this episode, you should be able to find the money necessary to launch and scale your business. Thank you for listening to this episode. I'm happy to let you know that we have resources for this on our website. We have templates for business plans, pitch deck templates, spreadsheets, a list of resources that I've mentioned in this episode. So please do visit elevatestudio.uk.com/resources. Thank you for listening to the Elevate Your World podcast. Until the next episode, keep elevating.